Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our fourth episode of Pineapple Jam Podcast. Today we're talking to Pixie Lee, a astounding,
amazing,
cosplayer in the industry. Recently changed over to some more interesting things we'll get into a little bit later on.
How are you?
How are you, first of all? How are you going? It's a bit weird. We've usually had kind of just friends of the stream in the last few episodes, but this is kind of different. We've never really spoken before. So how are you going? How are you? How are you finding everything?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm currently mid-stream, so this is all going live to me because I stream on Mondays, and at the moment my focus is streaming. So yeah, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw you.
It's pretty chill.
I saw you playing a bit of Fall Guys. How you going? Getting some wins?
I don't know about wins. Definitely falling a lot, if that counts.
It's the name of the game. It's in the name. It's
so
what
you're playing
it
the
is.
game.
Isn't the aim to fall over? I'm pretty sure the aim is to fall over. I don't know.
Falling over and just watching me trying to roll around like a potato, trying to get up again.
I finally got my first win last week.
Did you?
Finally.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm crownless still.
All right, let's get stuck into this. We've made the mistake of calling people by the actual name, so we'll stick to Pixie Lee. Pixie.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pixie.
How would you describe cosplay?
So for me, cosplay was I don't know. I would describe cosplay as the thing that people see something they really enjoy, whether it's a character or like a Pokemon or a game or something, and they want to interpret it. So they want to become that character, or they want to have a go at making the art form or whatever it is, and then they make something or they buy something, or it's cosplaying is the act of portraying a character as yourself as a character, and yeah, it's about having fun, really.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think all the fun.
I've never really gotten into. I've been an appreciator of the art form, but I've never really got involved myself.
Well, maybe this can spark some passion for you. So what got you into cosplaying then, Pixie?
I have one of those really classic cliche kind of stories. So when I was in high school, so about 7 years ago, for my year 12 spring fling, I made an Ari costume from League of Legends. It was for Halloween spring fling kind of thing. And then a year later, my friend invited me to come to the League of Legends OPL final, which were at Supernova. And I didn't even know what Supernova was at the time. I had no idea about this world. And they were like, "Oh, you should wear your Ari costume." And I was like, no. It's kind of weird, dude. Why would I wear an outfit to a gaming convention? That's stupid. Anyway, so they convinced me, and I wore it, and I ended up sort of getting heaps of photos, and people were complimenting my my cosplay and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. I loved the vibe, I loved the atmosphere, and I was like, wow, there is this whole community of people that like making stuff and wearing it to places, and and interchanging sort of fan whatevers, and people are into the same stuff, and I was blown away at the friendliness and welcoming community that surrounded both cosplay and gaming. So then I was like, all right, I'm gonna get into it, I'm gonna do it. And then I sort of researched it, and I followed a few really famous cosplayers, and I started making stuff, which that was that.
Yeah, very, very cool. Actually, mentioning Supernova, that's kind of the way I first heard about you. I was watching the PixieLee panel a couple of years ago, and you were on with them. I was like, hey, I recognize you on social media stuff, and I followed everything.
Hey, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I met quite a few people through PixieLee, and I now have a job through a secondary contact that I got through another panel that I did with PixieLee. So it's the amazingness of the community. I think It's really important that people just sort of meet each other, and they chat, and it's amazing the kind of connections that you can get from that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. 100%. For those of you who don't know who PixieLee are, they're another podcast located here in Perth. Don't worry, because we've got Gianni, one of their, I think he's the general manager of PixieLee, I can't remember, but he's on
Yeah.
He's on in a couple weeks' time, so stay tuned. gonna have a little chat with him soon.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. He's having a chat with Giovanni. Yeah.
I always call him Giovanni. I feel so bad. Like always have to like correct myself. It's Gianni.
Yeah.
You wanna
Okay, yeah.
talk a few more cosplay stuff before we move on?
Okay, so I want to know like what was your favorite project or design that you just fell in love with, or that you enjoyed every kind of aspect to? Because you've done so many.
I've got like a few, yeah, because like I guess with cosplay, like there's different kinds of cosplay for me. I got into cosplay because I love the art form of it, and then I like really got into like anime and gaming and stuff. I got like further sucked into that kind of vibe and community, and then so like I have like my favorite cosplay like as a whole, which is my cosplay of Rory Mercury. She's like a anime, she's a demigod in an anime, and she's like a god of death, and I just really vibed with the character design, and I loved the cosplay that I made. I loved her weapon and stuff, but then I also really enjoy some of my other League of Legends cosplays because I play League of Legends a lot, so you know, like you kind of vibe with the characters as well. But then I have like my most proud cosplay, and that's the the Gunpla one of my Unicorn Banshee.
Ooh.
And I entered that in the WA Championships, and I actually won that, and I was really sort of like blown away. I was like, wow, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe I was able to achieve something so cool. And I think honestly that's probably the greatest achievement, I guess, of my cosplay existence.
Yeah, I actually remember just like watching your process too. Like I loved watching you create these projects and these amazing cosplay designs, and just following every step and like trying to absorb what you were doing, and trying to like get the confidence to do that too. So like what would be what's your best and worst material to work with if you were an up and coming cosplayer? Like say I wanted to jump more into that, which eventually
yeah. Do you mean like sort of like advice or like starting point?
Well, that'll be something like, yeah, what's your best advice like for someone who's going to jump in?
Advice. I think like the most important thing is to keep learning. I guess like it depends on why you cosplay, because there's people that cosplay that for different reasons. There are people that cosplay for the art of it, people that cosplay for the community, and people that cosplay for competitiveness. And I think if you're doing, I think the easiest one is the competitive one. If you're wanting to compete, like you have to keep learning. You have to keep trying new techniques, and you have to keep building on your knowledge and researching and trying all these different medium and really sort of not like specializing in one thing, but really trying to be as broad as you can, because that's what sort of competitions look for. They look for like breadth of skill and multidisciplinary cosplays and all that kind of stuff. But then if you're just doing it for the fun of it, like you just do exactly that. Like don't try and be the greatest thing, just enjoy being the character that you want to be, you know, like even if it's not perfect, even if it's not the right hair color or the night whatever, like it doesn't need to be perfect as long as you enjoy it. Like it's I think there's just so that the beauty of cosplay is that it's not one set thing, it's not one reason that people do it, which means that there will always be so many different people doing it for different reasons, and there'll be all these different sort of vibes going on. Yeah.
I love that. So, speaking of like keeping on learning and developing your skills, I think kind of start of the year I saw you working on your non-disposable materials and like colors. I thought was so interesting. How speaking of materials, how did you find working with that and developing?
Well, that's the thing. Like I guess that's one thing with the cosplay like community. There's a lot of like toxic materials and like I'm a chemical engineer, so like materials are my sort of knowledge field, and unfortunately like there's a lot of plastics, there's a lot of highly toxic sprays and glues and adhesives and all those kind of things. And I thought, you know what, like we didn't used to have all this kind of stuff, but if you look at like traditional costumes from like China and ancient Egypt and sort of like more like tribal kind of costumes, all those kind of creations were made without all these toxic chemicals that we have now. And I was like, you know what, that'd be so cool to learn how people used to make things. Sure, maybe it'll take 5 times as long and maybe I'll have to like trial it a billion times, but like I really wanted to learn how we used to do things and how we could do that with less like impact. And that's like my career aspirations as well. Like I want to be a sustainable engineer. I don't want to pollute, and I don't want to do all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to sort of bring that into my cosplay, I guess.
Oh yeah, I think that was amazing. Like,
Yeah,
and it just
cool.
shows everyone that you can do it,
So cool.
and don't always have to
Yeah.
be like the, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You can be, you know, forward thinking and protect.
Well, like that's the thing is we want to be forward thinking, but at the same time, we used to do these things. Like, how else did China used to make these beautifully intricate like silk clothes with beautifully like metals woven in and all this kind of like amazing colors? Like from India is famous for its like colors that they used to make from all their spices and the different flowers. And you know, even in Australia, like our indigenous culture, we have beautiful reds, we have beautiful oranges and yellows all throughout like our environment. Why can't we put those into cosplay instead of just using the cheap kind of thing? So that's something that I really wanted to do this year. Unfortunately, I sort of stopped cosplaying this year. But if I go back, then that's the direction that I will keep taking.
Well, that brings us to our next
absolutely.
amazing point.
Perfect segue.
Yes, the segue.
Perfect. We've noticed you just went through a full rebrand of everything. How'd you find this process? What prompted it? I know you wanted to spend more time with like studies and everything. Yeah, what was sort of your direction? How did you create this character around it?
I think that like there's a whole lot of reasons why. There's sort of like two main ones, I think. As a cosplayer, and for me, I was a competitive cosplayer. So for me, it was always about learning. It was about sharing my knowledge. It was about, I ran workshops where I would teach other people. I would consistently try and learn. And I kind of found that I hit a bit of a brick wall. That I don't think I had the motivation to break, and I don't think I had the time to break it. So when I found that I wasn't learning as much as I used to, and that I spent all this time on my Banshee cosplay in the last few years, and I spent all this time trying to make these competitive cosplays after winning the championships and stuff, I felt a little bit burnt out. So I felt a little bit like sort of lazy at the start of this year. I also had a full-time internship over summer, so I had basically no time over the period that I usually smash out like a competitive cosplay in. Like if I'm competing in a championship during the year, I'll start that cosplay well in advance in like December and then smash it out till uni goes back in February. But I didn't have that chance this year, so I already felt quite behind. I knew that this was my final year of university, so I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to have the time. And I've also sort of found that I don't want to put like a negative spin on cosplay, but I found the community is getting quite toxic. They're getting quite sort of like, there's a lot of politicalness and that sort of vibe around it. And I didn't start cosplay for that. I started it as an art form, and I started it as like an escape from reality, an escape from, you know, all the negatives and stuff that, you know, you face with life. It's really important to have some kind of outlet. And when cosplay was no longer an outlet, I was like, you know what, maybe it's time to do something different. So that's where I sort of started thinking about rebranding. It was really hard for me though, because PixieLee has been my brand for 5 years.
Wow.
And I built like a really big community around it, and I know lots of people in the community. As a cosplayer, you build like connections, you build all these like a reputation kind of thing. And you know, I was running workshops, and to have to sort of completely change that was like really stressful. But like I thought it was really important because I wanted it to be like that was my era, and I want to start something new. But I wanted to kind of keep it similar. So PixieLee, Pixie Lee, they both start with P, they both start with PI, both have 3 syllables. Why Pixie? I thought that I really like the elf vibe, and I really like the sort of like that's the kind of vibe that I keep in my photo shoots now. And Lee is the second half of my name because my name is Haley. So I was like, oh yeah, Pixie Lee, Haley. Also, pixies are very Scottish kind of thing. they have a Scottish origin, and I also am Scottish. So I was like, you know what?
Fun facts.
I like it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's
So
very,
that's sort of where I why I've changed, I guess.
it's encouraging, like to see someone like yourself so established and just wanting to do something new and creative now is just so inspiring. I mean, it takes a lot of strength to like to see that you're kind of done with something, and then being creative enough to know that now you need a new creative outlet. And
Yeah.
fantastic. It's really
And that's the best part about being a creative as well, is like to be a creative is to adapt and change and to try new things. And that's why I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna try something new. We're just gonna start again, start from zero. And by zero, I mean like I removed a lot of things from my social medias. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep the best parts, but I'm gonna flush the rest and then start from here and build up again.
which
and
you guys can all check out.
It's been great.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll have a list of all of Pixie Lee's socials and where you can check her out. All of Instagram, Twitter, Twitch in the descriptions when we upload on YouTube and on all your podcast sites. But speaking of, you made your rebrand. So what's the next step? What are you working on now? I saw Gunpla. For someone who has no idea what Gunpla is,
Also,
what is what is this?
So it sort of stems back to when I made my first Gunpla cosplay. I was approached by a company called Little Robot, which are a fantastic Perth Gunpla supplier, Gunpla and model shop supplier. So I don't know if you guys want to tag them, but they are a fantastic local community, and they supply Perth's and some of Australia's Gunpla. And they approached me and they asked me if I wanted to make a Gunpla costume. I was like, I don't know what the heck that is, but like, sure. And then I did. And then I spent like a whole year on it, and I loved it. And the community was so inviting and so lovely. And I was like, you know what, this is super creative. Oh, you're back.
And we're back.
back.
Oh my god, I'm so
this will be
sorry.
the third time.
What's happening?
I don't-
Is it like the internet thing,
It's a mission
or
my internet's dropping. I've been streaming for 3 years. This is the first time my internet has ever dropped.
really?
It's pretty bad.
Big F.
Of all times. Okay, let's smash through this. We've got about 5-10 minutes at max left.
That's all good.
Alright.
I do want to maybe just do the industry one.
Industry one. Yeah, so we'll finish it off with what would you change about the industry if you could change anything?
About the streaming industry, cosplay industry, gaming industry, all industries.
So we kind of touched on your cosplay industry. How about you've just gotten into streaming? How about that? What would you change about it?
I don't really like how it's sort of set up. Like Twitch is set up quite well, in terms of like a way to connect and a way to like view. The only thing I can think of like would just be like better like connection between like communities. I think like if you don't generate your own connections, there's no sort of like assistance from Twitch, I guess. Like they have their teams things, but again, it's something that you have to kind of do yourself. Like, it's not something that's like particularly like pushed along.
I feel like Pav would definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
work with the Perth community that you and Cap do.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you, I won't promote freaking Perth community. That's all good. We'll talk about that right at the end. Let's go into rapid fire. All right, some fun, quick questions. First thing that comes to your mind. All right, what is your favorite ice cream topping?
Honeycomb.
Oh,
There you go.
interesting.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
That's
That
good.
could be a thing, like crumbled honeycomb, like crunchy, like.
All right.
Yeah, that's like I was thinking of like cold rock, you know, like when you like
when you put it in
like
things.
squish up your own ice cream. Yeah.
Sweet, perfect, sweet.
like it. What's your favorite season? As in season.
Summer.
When,
Summer.
Yeah.
Summer.
Last-
Summer.
last-
Always summer. Summer of the world. Summer everywhere.
I think it's summer.
Last week we had someone say paprika.
Yeah.
Okay, that's genius.
So
Yeah,
funny.
cinnamon.
So funny.
Okay.
Settle the big console debate. PS4,
PlayStation.
Xbox. Oh.
Oh, I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Or Nintendo. Actually,
That's
Nintendo
nice.
trumps all, but like PlayStation.
Okay. What will break the internet?
you wanted this one.
This is so topical.
Yeah, like
What will break?
Nintendo,
Nintendo will break.
PlayStation, and Xbox is somewhere underneath my floor. Somewhere, I'm not really sure where it is. Can't actually. Xbox! Hello! Are you down there? No, it's not even down there. You can't even see it. That's how far below the floor Xbox is. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure it's a great console. For babies. I mean, yes. No, I'm kidding.
That's gonna break the internet. Unsubscribed. Okay.
Oh no.
I'm not gonna do that one.
Yeah, that's too topical.
It's too topical. If Voldemort offered you a hug, Pixie, would you take it?
Sure. I'd do it. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Pepsi or Coke?
You know. Coke? Always.
Sweet or savory?
Sweet. No, savory. Savory. Both at the same time.
Oh, see, I can't do that. Like, the other night, a friend got out popcorn, and it was like sweet and salty popcorn, and I'm like, this is wrong.
What?
It's so
Excuse me? I literally eat that on stream, nearly every stream.
Maybe just salty popcorn, but both? I just don't understand. Don't get it.
I'm okay with it. Alright.
You're still there? You're still there?
I am here.
Offended, but still here. Okay, last question.
No, she'll be offended.
Last question. What do you spread on your toast?
Peanut butter, crunchy, and if it's not crunchy and it's smooth, you're not a real human being. Get out.
Hot take.
You heard it here first,
Heard it
guys.
here first.
If it's not
Smooth peanut butter is just how to like get like stuff stuck in your teeth with no reward. It's just like
Oh, okay.
I
like this is the face that I would make while eating smooth peanut butter.
Oh, we're just trying to check out your face.
I don't know if you did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can
Makes
imagine
sense?
that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the vibe.
yeah. Ugh. Good thing I don't like peanut butter. Gross.
I like smooth peanut butter. Don't hate me. Anyway, Pixie Lee, thank you so much for bearing with us, coming on and having a little chat with us. It was really interesting hearing about everything you're doing, working on. We're gonna send everyone who's been watching your way after stream to check out what you're doing, playing a bit of Fall Guys.
We're gonna play some Fall Guys.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing. We're jumping back to Fall Guys.
We've been doing a hell of a lot of Fall Guys, so good luck. Hope you have some wins. And for all of those of you who've jumped in watching this live on Twitch, we stream our podcast every Monday from 7 p.m. Next week we have... Who do we have next week?
There's someone else coming. But honestly, guys, whilst you check that out, check out all of her socials. Pixie Lee is an amazing creator, so her content is fantastic. So if you could check that out, that'd be great.
Oh, Gianni's next week. Okay,
there we go.
it's Gianni from PixieLee next week.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, so we're gonna have a good old chat to him. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, we'll see you then. Thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, it's been fantastic. Oh,
It's been fun. Thank you guys so much for having me as well.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. We're looking forward to seeing everything you're working on in the future. And
All right.
Should we try and do this sometime?
we have to. All right.
Okay.
Like any good jam, don't forget to spread it across the toast that is the internet.
That wasn't too bad.
That was terrible.
It was bad.
That was
yeah.
That was spicy. I liked it. That was great. But as long as it's got crunchy bits in it, you know?
Well, we're not smooth, so that's for sure.
A little bit smooth. Smooth.
Yeah, you're smooth.
Not
Thanks,
for-
guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
With no internet problem.
No worries. Thank you guys so much. See you later.